It's a remake. Okay, here we go. Greetings and welcome to FSX Testing Trip. Now, the one shouldn't not have been in the first one I've done, but I'm just going to call this FSX Testing Trip. Now, the first one, I'm going to admit that I was too wordy and too jargony, so I'm going to be not so jargony as much as I can for this video, and I'm going to talk more in simple terms to where even an ABDL could understand it. So what I have in mind for this trip is, it's a proving flight for one thing, that even though I've been rejected by the FAA for having mild autism and of course a cardiac event from 6 and 7 years ago, I'm making this video to prove that I could keep certain behaviors out of the classroom, and of course making an actual attempt that I've done something before, which happens to be attain pre-solo status with the Civil Air Patrol for the past glider encampments I've been on. And why do you want a third-class medical certificate and or a second-class medical certificate? Well, it's because I'm in Civil Air Patrol and we're affiliated with planes for one thing, and I of course want to go faster than the speed limit on the road legally, without having to bust any cons. Because let me tell you something, busting a con, as cool as it looks, it is not glamorous work. It really is not. And yes, I loved airplanes my whole life, as well as the military, medical, sailing, and of course I'm friendly with kids. And of course I'm good with animals too. And not to mention that I'm also good with kids as well. So in this video, we're going to do an experimental cargo run. We're just going to fly the airframe over to Grand Junction. And then from there, I'll think about what else to fly from here. So first off, let's get the flight plan. Yes, I want to go to Grand Junction today. How far we'll go accordingly. Just 2,000 feet higher, which equals 20,000 feet. It should only be 32 minutes because I'm flying a C5 Galaxy. You know, on a 141 Starlifter, it would be like 35 or 36. But this is a little quicker, though. And now, let's go flying. Now, I've recorded this video in a time of crisis, so in this video I thought I'd show you that I'm doing something in the midst of this crisis. Like if Duke City runs out of food or something, I could fly to a certain place to get the food for Duke City and come back. And one more thing, I don't want to convert you to what I believe in, but I truly believe that I'm a child of Yeshua HaMashiach. And he should take me so I wouldn't have to fly a vehicle without a license. And not to mention that, of course, I don't think I'm going to be able to fly one of these things in real life anyway, because of all the things that have been going on in the world, such as like the current pandemic from the time being I recorded this video, the earthquakes, and the storms in various places, as well as the locusts. I must say this. It seems as though that the Bible is coming to life, especially in Matthew's chapter 24, and especially verse number 6 is coming to life. And yes, it seems as though nations are rising against nations, kingdoms are rising against kingdoms, wars, rumors of wars, famines, and pestilences are taking place at the time being I recorded this video. Now I'm flying this flight because if for some reason Yeshua HaMashiach decides for the words apocalypse to occur on Duke City, which is Albuquerque, an apocalypse, and for some reason I'm not out of here, at least I have something to prove on why I went flying without a license to get food for Duke City. And let's just hope I never have to fly without a license. As much as I really want to fly, I'm doing this as proving grounds. And also as a way of saying, if you want to do that, you can do that in the hallway. And that's what I'm doing. Is doing something in the hallway. Just keeping a behavior out of the classroom. Anyway, let's go to Grand Junction. Now, this is my first trip I'll ever be honest with. 20,000 feet. Station log, 32 minutes. Well, with all that blab in the background, it's going to be longer. Plus the loading and some briefing time. Now, this flight here is not classified, because a lot of you are seeing this anyway. It's just an experimental flight to see what we could actually do. So, we're going to fly past Telluride, and it's usually my ritual to go at this time of year. In the time being I recorded this video, however, the pandemic got in the way, so looks like I'm going to have to live it out in the simulator. And if for some reason Mega Senior Earth does not show itself, I'm just going to let it go for the day. You can probably tell in my voice that I've been in Civil Air Patrol for 10 years. Actually, as of 48 hours ago. But I'm going to tell you this. As of right now, everybody's in a quandriatic state. So, even though I've been in Civil Air Patrol for 10 days, correction, 10 years and 2 days now, great honor and privilege, and I thought to make use out of those skills as well. So we're going to be going to Grand Junction here, and let's hope it's true. I'm going off real world weather as well, so now let's go ahead and move this airplane. Now the loading screen is going to be long, but I could do this. I could brief you of what's going on. Okay, it's 6% briefing time. Okay, briefing time. This airplane here is a Lockheed C5 Galaxy, but I really want to fly a C-141 Starlifter so bad, but I'm having a hard time getting it in. It's a Flight Simulator X, and it's only available in freeware. And I'm using the Steam Edition. So if any of you could help me get the Lockheed C-141 Starlifter into FSX Steam Edition, especially the freeware version, that'd be very helpful. By the way, I still use Windows 7 for the time being, and I'm using the Steam Edition for Flight Simulator. Just so you know something about me. Anyway, here we are. Briefing time. The bird we'll be flying today is the Lockheed C5 Galaxy, the Alpha model. Now, in all the live streaming I've done in FSX, I never really made a long trip before, but this might as well be my first. And especially while the game is loading, I'm going to give you a briefing, because I see it perfect for a briefing. And for the time being, I'm just lazy to do other things. I suppose that's a good thing, because if the words apocalypse come to life, you're going to have to deal with some boring stuff, like this. Like this loading screen here. Well, yeah, our briefing is, today we're going to fly a Lockheed C5 Alpha Galaxy, and we're going to go fly to Grand Junction, and then from there, the game is over in Grand Junction. Doesn't tell you much, right? That's what I'm thinking, just for now. Now, of course, I'm going to tell you this too. The airplane has 100% fuel, but there's no visible cargo on board, of which I know of. And even if there was, I'm going to do this. I'm going to trade it off in Grand Junction for those who need it. Because I will admit that I love Colorado too, especially the southern part and southwestern part of the state. And I want to help support the area as well. I want to help support and defend as well. Now, I'm of course a Civil Air Patrol officer. Now, I'm an O2 in Civil Air Patrol and have been for quite a while now. But in 03, we're going to have to see about, because of all these technological failures that have been going on. You know, it seems as though that children of Yeshua HaMashiach are about to go home very soon. I just hope that I could get some material to work on my 03, which happens to be a captain in the Civil Air Patrol. But it's going to be a lot of work, but I can, may, and I most absolutely will do it. because I also like military as well. Now this flight here, I've chosen the military-schemed Lockheed C5 Galaxy because I feel comfortable with the plane, especially the colors. And I'm actually expecting to crash at Grand Junction. However, the reason I choose to crash at Grand Junction is because, it's a simulator. At least we're actually trying. And the crash will prove to you something at the end of the video. At least I'd actually tried into doing something, and I'd pioneered into showing you what was there in Grand Junction as opposed to what wasn't. And what we could do about Grand Junction later. Now, if you ask me why I worry about Grand Junction so much, is because, Grand Junction is a popular hotspot, and not to mention that a lot of you take Grand Junction for granted. Now, I really filmed this in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is Duke City's real name. But for tagging location, I just put it down as USA. Because I'm going on a trip within the country. Alright, in the briefing, we're going to say this. Okay, this is a Lockheed C5 Galaxy. It is almost as big as a 747, but shaped differently. As opposed to your Pacifica Airlines 747, or World Travel, Pacific Airlines, I already said that, Orbit Airlines, etc. This bird is just about big as those, but shaped differently. Or maybe even a little bigger. So this is what's going to happen. We're going to go to Grand Junction as a test flight and, of course, test the airport with the bird to see if the birds could even land there or not. Birds means C-141 Starlifters and C-5 Galaxies. Now, C-123 provider and a C-141 Starlifter, actually, they could make it to Grand Junction. I've done it before. Especially C-130 Hercules could make it, but let's just see where the C-5 Galaxy stands today. Because my heart wanted to be a cargo pilot for a day today, so I'm choosing to appeal to its desires, and we're going to go fly to Grand Junction. Now, as I'm speaking here, we're going to come across a number of problems, but we're going to do it. Grand Junction is full of trees, especially at the tip of runway 11, 011, runway 11, whatever you want to call it. There's foliage at the runways, so I'm anticipating that a wing is going to hit the trees, and I'm expecting some damage to the airplane. However, I'm doing this. I'm helping pay some of the price for your freedom while I do this. Well, sometimes, you have to try. At the beginning of aircraft carriers, a lot of the tests did not go well because in the past, an aircraft carrier was converted from a battleship, and many of the airplanes had fallen off the deck. So in this video, we're going to actually land at Grand Junction, even if it means to crash land there. And the reason for modern aircraft carriers these days is because of what we have reaped from the past. And in this video, we are going to go to Grand Junction, like I said, and then from there, give someone else a turn. And I might come back on later tonight, I'm not sure. Especially because the days are warming up and it's getting hotter outside. The receiver at the Sandia Crest should be better. I'm not going to count on it, though. But we'll just see from here. Okay, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and tell you some of my emergency plans as well. Okay, my first emergency plan is with the engines during takeoff. Now, these are not the best emergency plans, but I have some. Actually, they're not plans, but I have ideas for emergency plans. Okay, here's our emergency plan for if an engine goes out before V1 can rotate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close the throttle if an engine goes out. So I'm going to abort the landing by landing straight ahead. I will close the throttle. And then from there, I will deploy the speed brakes. If for some reason they don't deploy, I'm just going to land that bird straight ahead. Even if it means for a bunch of Kirtland fire engines to come rushing after the plane, or whatever. Then from there, when the plane stops, I will prompt evacuation. And then we'll have to see what goes on from there. Not very good plan, but at least I'm trying something. Now, if I have an engine failure after V2, I will come back the way it came in. And if that doesn't work, I'll find a spot on airport property to put the bird down, and then from there, prompt evacuation as well. And if for some reason I'm still over Duke City and of course halfway between the main airport as well as the Coronado Airport, including the Double Eagle Airport, I'll do as follows. If I'm near the Double Eagle Airport, I will land there. And if I'm near Coronado Airport, I will land there. If I'm near Santa Fe, I will land at Santa Fe. Or if for some reason I have to land off airport, I'm either going to find a body of water and or some desolate land to put the bird down and signal that we're in distress. Alright. And another part of the emergency procedures are I intend to keep a level head, I intend to breathe, I intend to focus on what's going on in the immediate area, and then from there, just like in the movie Executive Decision, just bring it down to simplicity, stick and rudder, relax and fly the plane. I think, what am I forgetting? Okay, anyway. For this flight, there's not really an emergency, except just an urgent desire of my heart to want to go fly to Grand Junction using the C5 Galaxy because we really need to assess the airport, and not to mention if my heart wanted the C5 Galaxy, we'll use the C5 Galaxy because landing in Grand Junction, a C5 in the simulator, is possible, but it's going to be difficult. And especially at a time like this, when comes time to do it in reality / real life, C5 Galaxies are going to have to come into Grand Junction anyway. So I thought to help pave a way for Lockheed C5 Galaxies to land at Grand Junction. Now, in this operation, I'm not expecting it to go well. However, I make this video to show that I'm actually trying something. And I'm ultimately, of course, helping pay for your freedom. And of course, the way I'm going to pay for your freedom is, of course, my demise at the Grand Junction Regional Airport. If I should have demise, I just really hope not. If anything, at Grand Junction, I'm just going to do some damage to the runway lights, as well as the visual approach slope indicator, due to the fact that this is a behemoth that I'm flying in there. However, I think they're going to be destroyed anyway, and it should be possible for Lockheed C-5 Galaxies to land in Grand Junction anyway, especially because of all these disasters taking place, such as earthquakes, meteorological, etc. Meteorological means weather. There's just in case it's either an earthquake and or a storm of some kind that hits Grand Junction, and there's airplanes that need to go in there. Lockheed C-5 Galaxy may just be the type needed to go into Grand Junction. Now I'm flying in my world too. Now, of course, in my world, the Lockheed C-141 Starlifter still flies. And in my world, Grand Junction is home to Lockheed C-141 Starlifters. At least a few of them. Or a certain number of them. A few C-5s. As well as a certain number of C-130s at Grand Junction, in my fictional world. Now, a C-130 Hercules could make it to Grand Junction almost no problem. Actually, no problem it could, because same story as well with the C-123K Provider, or whatever. It could make it to Grand Junction, no problem. However, the airport area is really big. And it's going to take a while to taxi the 141, 130, and the 123. As well as, the Caribou planes. But since I'm flying a large cargo plane, which is a C-5 Galaxy, the taxi time should be shorter. And we're taking up a large space of the Grand Junction Airport. Almost like a pimple that's visible. That's what the C-5 is. Now, the other planes I mentioned are like pimples that are very, very barely noticeable, like the C-123K Provider, Caribou, which I should have mentioned that there's a few in my world at Grand Junction. Caribous, those are. C-141 Starlifters, both A and the B. They're just sizes of premature pimples, according to the Grand Junction Airport. With the C-5 Galaxy, however, coming into Grand Junction Airport, we're the size actually of almost a premature boil. However, I can tell you this. We're there to bring good. And if for some reason I should meet my demise at Grand Junction, I'm going to reassure this to you. At least I actually tried to help pay some of the price for your freedom. What more can I tell you? Sooner or later, I might have to go to Grand Junction, whether I want to or not. Because New Mexico is not the only state that has civil air patrol in it. I just hope I won't have to go anytime soon. But it's a simulator, and we're going to go see how things go. Now, as the flight plans in FSX state, they're not to be used for real-world navigation or flying. And I'm not intending to do that. It's just for the game. And especially because of the things we want to do in life, I fall in this category too. I'm in the category where no one makes the cut. At least I'm actually trying to make the cut for certain things, like get a third-class medical certificate, and or second, and have someone fly with me. Now, if you ask why do you want someone to fly with you, I have to. It's because I have a neurological and a cardiac problem. And yes, I have both a heart and a brain problem, but I still desire to fly, and I know other people who do. And some people fly hot air balloons because they're in a wheelchair, and they do it. Okay, we're at 12%, according to the loading data. It's what I'm seeing with my eyes. You probably may not see it with yours. Okay, here's how it's going to happen even more. I'm going to start from runway 1, which happens to be a helipad at Kirtland Air Force Base in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but this is fictional. It's not real. So what I intend to do upon arrival in the game is I'm going to press Y for Yankee key and position the plane to how I want it to be. Then from there, of course, I'm going to test the control surfaces for free movement. And then from there, I'm going to request the automated terminal information service, get the clearance. Then after we get the clearance, we're going to request for taxi, and then taxi out. Oh yes, I definitely have emergency ideas as well. If for some reason the airplane combusts while I'm checking the control surfaces or whatever, meaning if it catches on fire, the game is over. But I'll tell you this. I'm thinking to make this game public because I'm showing you that I actually helped pay the price for some of your freedom. I didn't pay it off completely, but I at least helped pay some of the price. And I helped incur for some of the debt for your freedom. I know what some of you guys are thinking, you should be a military pilot. Look, I got health issues. As young and healthy sounding I'm looking. Look, I have both a brain and a heart problem. And of course, of all the times I've spent in Civil Air Patrol, especially years, and of course, applying what I've been through in the program, I can tell you this. Based off observation and exposure, I could apply this to Plane Flight Simulator, and from there, try to live it out as best I can. I'm going to be okay. Especially at a time like this, with everything just happening at once, I really truly believe that if Yeshua HaMashiach wants to take me home, even in the middle of a live stream, that's alright. Yeah, it's more than alright, it's brilliant with me. I don't know about you all, but also please bear in mind too that I'm also very God-fearing. So, yes, I even have a passion to teach as well. This flight is not a battle for religion. It's a test flight. And of course I'm counting on Yeshua HaMashiach. Actually, I'm asking at this time that Yeshua HaMashiach delivers me to Grand Junction, hopefully safely and out of trouble. Even if it means, of course, to brush some trees. I just hope not. Because at runway 11 in Grand Junction, there's foliage. That's the problem. Very heavy foliage at runway 11. Well, for all you know, playing this game, I might go to Montrose sometime, flying a cargo plane or whatever in FSX, but I'm not sure yet. Because I realize as well, in the area, I got relatives too. I understand that we all have friends, family, and acquaintances who live in the area, so looks like the prevalence of those living in Colorado seems to be growing, so I might as well go help. Is another reason why I made this flight. I know this is not a good briefing, but at least I'm actually trying. And that's what I'm using this loading time for. Is, of course, for one thing, when if you're in a briefing room, I'll tell you this. And I've been through multiple briefing rooms in Civil Air Patrol, wherever it may be. There's usually little to no windows looking outside. Everybody lectures you about everything, especially because I've been to basic encampment for so many times. Actually, once I went to basic encampment, but bailed one day early due to the fact that my back went out because I had another accident on the first night, which happened to be a fall in the shower room. Because I'm sure you know what happens in the military during the basic training phase. They rush you while you're taking a shower, doing your hygiene, etc. I mean, they just want you to just shower, get out. And do what you have to do, of course. And from there, we do this. You know, it wasn't until like a few days later that my back went out. On the last full day of the activity. But I got some military in me, as you could tell. Because I reaped what I went through at the activity. And at this point, I basically, have the equivalent, even if I had graduated the activity, which I didn't, which happens to be Winter Encampment 2011 for New Mexico Wing Civil Air Patrol. And we ain't never having Winter Encampment again, I don't think. We think about it, but it's never a guarantee. Encampment is defined as age-appropriate exposure of boot camp, basic training to anyone who's like 12 to 16. Especially because of what I've reaped at the encampment. Like having been through all these speakers when I went there, because that's what we had when I went to the 2011 Winter Encampment for New Mexico Wing Civil Air Patrol. We mostly had speakers. And of course, their talking would go on for eternities, it seemed as though. So I'm making use of the loading time by, of course, talking about certain things and making some briefings. For the weather briefing, in Duke City, we have some fair weather and a few cold fronts, it looks like. And I don't really know the direction of them, but yeah, well, I'll cheat a little bit. Now in Grand Junction, that's another story. But I went off of real world weather in this game. But let's see what's here. Okay, the hourly forecast for 1,300 hours. It's going to be 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Chance of precipitation is 15%. It's partly cloudy. Okay, it's sunny. And the output's partly cloudy, I think. Tonight, oh, don't worry about tonight. Okay, winds to the south are at 6 miles per hour. We'll go off whatever runway is reactive at the moment. Because I'm going to be a little more real in this flight simulator. Now, I'll use some slewing and some no slewing, as this is a test flight as well, like in other live streams. And today is a mix of clouds and sun, stray afternoon thunderstorm as possible. High is 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind south at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Okay. Precipitation is 0.0 inches. Pressure is 0.08 inches. Visibility is 10.0 miles. Ultraviolet index is 10. But it's very hazy out there, I personally think, but FSX won't show it. Alright. And we're in the briefing room. We're waiting for this to load. I think the weather's going to be good for flying, and of course, I'm expecting it to be turbulent, however. But here's one thing I'm going to promise, though. The C5 Galaxy is a big and tough plane, and it's not a little Cessna that Civil Air Patrol operates. So reassuringly, whatever big bumps that a Civil Air Patrol Cessna takes, that should just be just a little tickle for the C5 Galaxy. We're going to be alright. It's only going to be a half-hour flight to get from here to Grand Junction. But what's taking so long is that whatever the excuse is to take so long from real Lockheed C5 Galaxy crew members. Planning, loading, things like that. But for this flight, I'm choosing just to go on a 100% fuel load. Or just take the settings as they are. Even if we're heavy, you know, whatever's in the plane. is Grand Junctions. And Grand Junction, of course, is a small town in Colorado. Oh my. Looks like I'm getting a reply on Reddit, about the Starlitzer problem I've been having. But we'll have to actually try it later because at this point I'm already committed to flying. I forgot to mention, some of you know, some of you don't. It's bumpy when it's hot. And of course, right now in Duke City in real life, when I recorded this video, it's hot outside. At least from when I recorded this. So, when it's hot, it means there's going to be turbulence. And then from there, there's something that's reassuring. In the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy, that really should not be a problem. It's a big, tough airplane. Yes, she's really big and tough, like I said earlier. That should be alright. The worst turbulence I'm actually expecting right now is not just from heat, but also from mountain winds. Because when you go into Colorado, I should have briefed you earlier. Well, yeah, briefings are a lifelong pursuit. So anyway, I've decided to brief you on Colorado just now. Colorado is going to be surrounded by mountains, and yes, it still gets hot there. So upon arrival in Colorado, especially when you cross the state line, the mountain winds, especially the canyon winds, are going to be blowing through, and they're going to touch the plane. And I promise you, they will. we're all going to clash into each other just like in Braveheart. Or whatever. And we're going to fight against turbulence, and of course turbulence is going to try to get us to the ground. We usually win. But we'll have to actually fly and find out. Since this is a simulator, I'll walk away. And we'll just see what happens. Now, going into Grand Junction is going to be a different story because of the fact that there's foliage at the end of runway 11, and not to mention at runway 11, I can expect to not land on the runway completely because the winds are going to force me to crab leg, to crab land, because for one thing, I've crab landed before during glider encampments with Civil Air Patrol due to crosswinds. I mean, to me, they're hard, but you could do it, you know. And also in Colorado, I'm expecting a lot of sink to be taking place right now. What I mean by sink is not enough lift. Like when I flew gliders in Civil Air Patrol, especially the 2014 glider encampment, sink was more prevalent because we went at the wrong time. And today happens to be one of those days when I went to glider encampment of 2014 for New Mexico Wing Civil Air Patrol. So my IP tells me, especially when I was at pre-solo status, to go back to the B-17 training base in Hobbs, New Mexico, where the activity was being held at that time. So without arguing with the instructor pilot, I just went back. There was a lot of sink. However, I just had a little oopsie, little incident. I just hit the nose on the ground a little bit, but I'm otherwise okay. Almost flipped the glider over, though. The glider I was flying at that time was a Czech-made Blanik L-23 Super Blanik, meaning that the glider came from the Czech Republic, manufactured there, had some Czech writing in it, and of course, I don't know what it all meant. So if there's anybody who's watching this who is Czech, please help me translate what's in the gliders, especially the Blanik L-23 Super Blanik, because the Civil Air Patrol, for one thing, we continue to own the Blanik L-23 Super Blanik, and they're still writing in Czech. And we choose to keep the Czech writing in there because, for all you know, we might even get a Czech who's going to fly the glider. And we don't want to confuse the Czech. At least not very much. Sure thing, we're going to confuse that Czech anyway, but I just want to give a little relief somehow. Anyway, going into Grand Junction, it's going to be very challenging, but it's a good challenge. Especially in Colorado, I could expect to wrestle with all kinds of sink as a not enough lift. Meaning that I could expect, you know, some turbulence happening with the plane, and of course I could expect the plane to fall almost 1,000 feet. So if I'm going to fly at 20,000 feet, I could expect to fall to 15 or maybe even 10,000 feet. I'm not sure, because in southwestern Colorado right now, it should be hot there at the moment. It should be nice there. But if I was there a few weeks ago, I could have expected my airplane to fall at least 1,000 feet. To 100,000, 100,500, 18,000, etc., etc., etc. Due to the fact that the mountains are cooler, for one thing, and because of all the foliage there, the wetness and the greenness, it's going to tug on the airplane. And sure enough, it wants to bring the airplane down. And if that so is the case to happen, I don't have an exact plan yet, but this is what I'm thinking to do. Increase throttle, and then eventually I'm going to fly the airplane manually to Grand Junction. And if that doesn't go well, I'm actually thinking to land in Montrose. At the airport, of course, because to defend my answer why I want to land in Montrose, it's a test flight, and of course there's not enough lift. There's not enough thermals to help keep me aloft. You could tell that I've flown gliders, right? Well, I was really hoping to go to Telluride and Ouray this year, but not going to happen due to the pandemic crisis. But we'll be flying over it. Even if FSX payware scenery for Mega Scenery Earth is not there, I know where it is. I've flown in the general area of it, playing Microsoft Flight Simulator X. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. Yeah, this is a box canyon, as heard from, sorry to say your name, that Pastor Eric Christensen said a long time ago at Hoffmantown Church, when Yeshua HaMashiach permits a box canyon to happen. This is one of those flights, or at least I chose to go through this box canyon to help keep current as much as I could possibly be, especially in my faith. So let's do this. So that way, when if you come to an even more real box canyon, you'll have something that'll help you survive off of and with for a little while as well. Alright. So, okay, today we'll be flying a Lockheed C5 Galaxy, as usual, and this needs loading, and at least I found some more things to talk about a little bit, and here it is, our loading. Some of you may not like this video, but that's okay. But for those who like, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you around. The reason why I'm telling you that right now is because, well, for all I know, I'm actually expecting to wreck. I'm not expecting this is going to be a good flight. Now we'll see about it, Toga. As yes, I'm subscribed to Mentor Pilot. And yes, Toga means take off and go around. Even if you saw my notifications. Bad for me for having them on. Okay, so we're ready to go to Grand Junction? I think so. Now the only holdup is loading time, and of course, trying to get some proper logistics to go to Grand Junction. Now in the real world, I'm sure real C5 Galaxy crews know this. In some cases, it takes days to get a Lockheed C5 Galaxy in the air. But in this video, it's just at least an hour or two to get one in the air. And some of you probably know that you have to wait for certain authorizations to get a C5 Galaxy in the air. But in this game, I authorize it. We're gonna go fly. Anyway. There's not really much in Grand Junction for me, except it's a popular hotspot in that part of Colorado. Just a test flight. And I better comply with that heart's desire. Okay. Another thing to do while this is loading is everyone have the correct forms to go flying. Because I don't, but this is a game. So what? Enough fuel? Your shit. The only correct form I have is a pilot flight logbook, and I still log my flights the traditional way. Which is, of course, a pen in the logbook. Even after some fudge ups, you know, I have at least 80 live stream hours. But they're not all good because I'm actually trying. As you can see here. And some of you are asking me, even though you've flown the F-14 Tomcat, which happens to be a Navy fighter plane, and you're in Civil Air Patrol, which is an Air Force organization, why not fly something Air Force related? Some of you might ask me. I'm like, okay, I can do that, and I will. So here you go. Your requests are in the process of being fulfilled. Now, there's other planes I like to fly other than the Tomcat. Someday I might fly lighter than air or rotary wing. I might fly a helicopter, hot air balloon, blimp. Sometimes playing Flight Simulator X, and that's quite alright. I don't know when though. At least we're actually doing something here. There's hardly ever such thing as a final briefing. So, I'm going to go ahead and brief you what to expect in Grand Junction. Expect it to be very humid there. Expect the air to suck. And it'll also be beautiful. Expect it to be cold. Or maybe even hot. If for some reason you get hot, yes, let us know and we'll help you from here. I'll swap your flight suits out for something else. Maybe even another flight suit. Then from there, somebody else is definitely getting a turn. Because I could expect us to be exhausted upon arrival. Especially from the talking during the briefings. And yes, you're still in a briefing room with little to no windows. See, what else do cargo pilots usually do? If only I'm allowed to do it. Well, this flight is not a cargo flight. It's just a test flight. This could very well be the first trip I ever went on. going for at least 100 statute miles. It's going to be more than 100 statute miles, however, I'm going to tell you this. You gotta try, you know? You gotta actually try. And I think I'm ready for a trip. And I've been ready this whole time. Because I've flown cross-country with Cap before. And I should fly cross-country. Once again, and this flight is also a cross-country flight. Well, since this is an Air Force cargo flight, of course, sometime later, it's not going to be today, I'm going to have to imagine bringing some supplies to Grand Junction. And what are you going to bring in the Starlifters, Galaxies, and Herculeses, as well as Providers and Caribous? Well, to Grand Junction, I could expect to bring MREs, armored trucks, men and women, of course, willing to fight, as well as provide support roles, tanks, half-tracks, artillery cannons, helicopters. I could expect to bring there to Grand Junction, or wherever. Why do I bring those? Because Grand Junction might need them. Well, another thing to keep in mind too is Grand Junction is just right next door to Utah. So, upon arrival in Grand Junction, we might be in Utah for a little bit. That's all right, because as conservative as Utah is, they should let us go if we're trying to land at Grand Junction Regional Airport. If for some reason we end up in Utah, and since that is a conservative state, I'm going to defend my answer with we were trying to get to Grand Junction, but our survival training kicked in. We needed to land somewhere and somewhere quickly. I just hope that doesn't happen. Now, in the case of going to Grand Junction, we should be in a more liberal state as well. And to defend my answer why we're going to Grand Junction is because there's good people there that also deserve to live. We gotta help them. Now this flight here is also a preparation of what's yet to come. Should anyone have to deliver anything by C5 Galaxy to Grand Junction, or if you have to land at the Walker Regional Airport, this flight proves something. Well, there's going to be no final briefing, but we have enough words. We have a good idea of what we want to do. We know where we want to go. We know how we're going to get there. We know what we're doing. And we're going to actually try. As this thing finishes uploading, that's what I'm going to say is that, once again, there's no final briefing. I'm going to say that you have good enough of what we want to do, where we want to go, how we're going to get there, what's going to happen, etc. One of the things that happens to be etc. is we're going to test Grand Junction to make sure it's okay for a C5 Galaxy to go in there. Or it might just be okay, you know. It's just like testing your bathwater. That's what we're doing in this episode. It's like landing in an actual C5 Galaxy into Walker Regional Airport in Grand Junction. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be possible. And once again, there's no final briefing in this episode, but as this thing finishes loading, let's just say it's the final briefing for this portion here. Okay. Get your attention. Hut! When you go to Grand Junction, just remember each and everything you said. Remember who we are and what you represent. ETO, dismissed. To the planes. Especially to the Galaxy. Okay. 5 more %, and we should be ready to go. Aviation is for patient people, too. Okay, we're on a helipad. We're going with the mouse and the cursor on the signal the ground crew same as usual. They told me don't go anywhere yet, but guess what? I need to move the bird before the helicopters come in. So one of the same drill as usual is I'm gesturing here, wheel chocks, engine covers, etc. in this cart here, but it's all imaginary. Now I'm going to move the plane over a little bit. Now I'm going to slew because I don't have a pushback truck or whatever. I don't have an airport tug. That's why I'm doing this. It'll take a while. Already took too long anyway. Boring you guys. So. I know you're thinking your videos are boring and stupid, but guess what? At least I'm actually trying. If Colorado scenery is not there, let it go. 10,000. If ATC says something, do it. Do not argue with them. Do it. If ATC says just do it. Okay. Check. Covers, wheel chocks, etc. Imaginary supplies, imaginary other supplies, just cut it here. Do it.
Albuquerque Airport information, India 1901, Zulu, wind 277 at 1 check. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Today conditions, few clouds at 400. Temperature form. Dew point minus check. Altimeter 2992. Visual runway 2 check in use. Landing and departing runway
cursor is yes, the add-on made it. The Colorado add-on made it. It was not easy though. And New Mexico, same story. Actually, similar story. Anyway, a lot of time. Let's go. A lot of time. Let's go. Change it a little bit. This morning. Affirmative. Alpha 2. Project. Alpha 1, 2,
ready for IFR departure, runway 26. Lockheed 00456, cleared for takeoff, runway 26, service wind 277 at 16.
Edit voice pack demo, buy a license from editvoicepack.com.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 26, Lockheed 00456.
Got it, go. not? No.
Denver Control at 118.575. Over to 118.575, Lucky 456, thanks, bye-bye. American Pacific Niner 410, turn right heading 185, left down course, descend altitude left down. Turn right heading 185, clear on navigation, descend and maintain.
down and prove this happened.
Fox 4, 5.
mistakes. We can, may, and will make things work. At least I will, anyway.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
approach. Vectors defined.
Lockheed 456, you are 24 miles northwest. Turn right heading 205. Expect vectors ILS, runway 11. Approach circle to land, runway 29er. Lockheed 456, turn left heading 030. Lockheed 456, you are 24 miles northwest. Turn left heading 090. Set 7,000 feet under cleared ILS, runway 11. Approach. Maintain 7,000 feet under until established on the localizer. Contact Mid Junction Tower from 118.1.
Turn left heading 090. Descend and maintain 7,800. Cleared ILS. Runway 11. Approach. Maintain 7,800. Tower assembly. Tower on 118.1. Lockheed 456.
I think I got an hour and worth of flying. We gotta land at Grand Junction Regional Airport. One 110.30. 11. Why not? Yeah. I'll go there. It's my game, why not? There we are. Off the radio. We're too high. Or,
Bombardier 72 Bravo. Contact ground on 121.7. Over 2121.7. Bombardier 72 Bravo. Thanks. Bye-bye.
too high.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Alright. I always love gummies, so when gummies over there now. To the terminal, of course. Whoever's running the game, put you over there. I don't want to think of the field box, I'm just going to look at it. Alright. Debrief. One more thing. Alright, this flight, is probably not the best flight, but at least it's an attempt to make a cargo flight playing FSX. Now the scenery was messed up quite a bit. Actually quite a lot, especially with the Colorado scenery. But I'll fix that. I'll figure it out. And even though I have special needs, of course, I have desires on my heart that I got to live out. I'm going to live them out even more and better. As for the long wait, you know, I made some good use out of that time by giving you multiple briefings and telling you about stuff. Now we made it to Grand Junction, however the landing wasn't really good. Now it's a game, so why not provide entertainment? That's what all the slewing was about. Other than that,